Something we get a lot of comments about or a lot of questions about is layback. Does increased layback cause UCL tears? Is that what's causing all the Tommy John surgeries? Is people getting too much layback? All right, partly the reason, yes, but there's a safe way to do it, and that's what we're gonna go ahead and talk about in this video. So increased layback initially puts more stress on the UCL. All right, we know this. All right, scientific literature also shows that increased layback is directly correlated with increased velocity. So how do we get the best of both worlds? Without increasing the impulse at the elbow, but also increasing our layback to allow for greater velocity. Well, we have to control the rate at which we lay our arm back. So many times people will increase their layback, but they don't have the stabilization around the rotator cuff or around the shoulder with the rotator cuff to actually stabilize the shoulder, and the hand kind of just flops back almost just like a floppy, like dead fish. So we have to make sure that we control that movement and that our muscles are co-contracted around the shoulder to control that movement. So when we look at the rotator cuff, we see that the muscles in an uncontrolled layback, when the arm is dropping back too quickly, that the muscles are not pre-tensioned. So those muscles are all lax. So before, when we're dropping into layback, our muscles first have to take up muscular slack and tension themselves first before they can contract and produce force. So our goal is to make sure that we are pre-tensioned before we drop into layback, so that right as we start that movement, those muscles are contracting to stabilize the shoulder. So if we can minimize or decrease the rate of speed at which we lay back at, we can still get to the same range of motion or get to that increased layback position, but we're doing it in a much safer way that's decreasing the amount of load being placed at the elbow and decreasing the amount of gapping at the medial elbow. So we can go ahead and use a whole plethora of tools to go ahead and teach the shoulder or the rotator cuff how to pre-tension itself and co-contract around the shoulder to make sure that we are controlling that layback and that we're not falling back too quickly. So we actually made a short or another video on this, so we'll go ahead and link that and you can go take a look at that for some more exercises, but we're gonna go ahead and go through one that we really like to use if you have access to a water bag like this. So if you have this aqua bag, we're gonna go ahead and hold it just like this. Get set up towards our target. Hold the ball on the back side of the aqua bag. We're going to start with a shake here. So by shaking this aqua bag, we're creating stability within our rotator cuff and activating some of those muscles around our shoulder before we go ahead and throw. So we're going to shake, activate those muscles, get contraction there, and then move into our throw. So this is what's going to help stabilize and teach our shoulder how to contract before we throw and to be pre-tensioned before we end up moving into our layback. So go ahead and add in this drill along with some of the other drills that we mentioned in our other video, and make sure you're supplementing all of these throws with an effective arm care program. If you do not have one, check the link below and get started on our arm care program to make sure that we are strengthening our rotator cuff, because rotator cuff strength is of the utmost importance for controlling the layback and making sure that we have a stable shoulder as we begin to move through our throw. So you can't do one without the other, so make sure you're hitting both. If you want any more information, check out some of our other videos or comment healthy velo below, and we'll go ahead and reach out to you and answer any questions that you guys have. We'll see you in the next video.